After her game yesterday, I spoke to hockey player Claire Dinning about her involvement in women's sport. We discussed why it is so important to promote women's sports at all levels, but first we spoke about her experience. So Claire, what made you want to get involved in hockey at university?
So I used to play hockey as a teenager down at Worthing Hockey Club, and I really enjoyed the sport. But I went to uni and I wanted to be part of a really sociable club, hockey club apparently was. I went to Freshers' Fair and things, and it was really well advertised. And the university really encouraged us to join a sports club, so I just went along and really enjoyed it.
Do you think that it is important that universities are encouraging women to get more involved in sports that they may not have initially thought of?
I think it's so important. Several of the members of the hockey club had never played hockey before in their lives before they came to uni, and just came more for the social side of it, and actually found that they were really good at it, or they just really enjoyed the sport, and making so many friends through it. It was such a big social thing to do, and you just met so many people and did so many more activities and kept fit as well.
With hockey in particular, do you think that enough was done to promote the sport to female students?
I think more could possibly be done, but I think definitely at Surrey there was a lot of advertisement, and we had things like active freshers where there was a lot of trial sessions. Like hockey would run a lot of mini games and things like that, just to try and get people to come along and try things out. We obviously had Freshers' Fair and stuff like that, and we had cheaper gym membership if you were part of a university sports club and things like that.
How do you think women's hockey compares to the men's? Should it even be compared? And would you say that it is a male-dominated sport, or is it something that women are making a breakthrough in?
I would say hockey is actually fairly even. Definitely in my hockey club there were more women than there were men. There were actually more men's teams, but we had more women who wanted to be involved and things like that. So yeah, and obviously with the England hockey team doing so well in the Olympics, with the women winning gold, it just promoted it so much more, and it kind of encouraged us.
What do you make of the amount of televised coverage that hockey gets compared to other women's sports?
Yeah, I think it could be shown more. Hockey is quite difficult to find on what to watch on TV. I think women's is filmed less as well. Yeah, some of the higher level stuff it's not featured as much as things like cricket and rugby and football. You kind of have to go searching for it to find it. It's not advertised or anything like that, so it probably could be shown more.
And what do you think of women's sport in general? Do you really think it is on the rise?
I do think it is on the rise, yeah. I think especially there's been a lot of coverage with the This Girl Can campaign and things like that, just to try and kind of encourage girls to be more involved in sport. I think also it's much more attractive now for a woman to be sporty, whereas it used to be that you wanted to be thin and not have muscles. Now I think it's encouraged for girls to keep fit, and it's such a social thing to do, be involved in sport, that I think girls are much more encouraged to get involved.
So what was your role at Surrey University's Women's Hockey Club?
I was the chair lady in my final year of uni at hockey. So I ran the hockey club along with the chairman. Instead of having a president and a vice president, we had a chairman and chair lady, so we were equal, which kind of meant that I could represent the women's side, as well as obviously put across quite a few viewpoints that the guys might not have seen. So that's kind of what I did. I went to lots of meetings, I organised lots of things like coaching and things like that, and dealt with teams and any kind of quarrels that people had.
With more and more women finding leadership roles in sports nowadays, do you think that this gave the women on your team a voice?
I think so, yeah, definitely. I think the fact that we had both a male and a female leading the hockey club made it a lot more equal in terms of kind of making sure that we got good training times as well. We got a lot of focus in coaching and things like that. And obviously, women's hockey is a lot different. It's different to men's hockey in terms of physical ability and speed and things like that. So I definitely made sure that we had a coach that was really good at coaching women rather than just good at coaching men who adapted. So yeah, I think it's definitely good.
So finding the balance is key.
100% think a balance is good. We mixed really well, and sometimes we actually played mixed hockey. We had a lot of mixed hockey tournaments and things like that. We actually had a mixed team as well, which just meant that you kind of all got together and all enjoyed the sport as one sport rather than as a split gender.
And do you think the men's team respect the women's, or would you say there is a divide between the two?
I think so, definitely. I think sometimes in the mixed team, the men sometimes dominated it, but sometimes that's just because they would kind of pass to each other because they knew each other, they played with each other more often, and sometimes just because they were more physically capable. Sometimes if they were faster or stronger than us, sometimes they could dominate the game a little bit, but equally we were definitely given the ball and things like that. And definitely in our hockey club, the men always came to support our games and things like that. I never felt that our games were less important to the men or anything like that. It was definitely equal. It's very good.
So lastly, Claire, what would you say to any young girls who are looking to get involved in hockey?
I would say go for it. Hockey isn't featured in schools very often. It's not featured as much as things like netball. So it's difficult to find as a youngster, especially as a girl. But I definitely think it's such a fun sport. It's really sociable, and I think anyone would love it, to be honest.